Welcome back to All the Smoke, coming to you live from the Players Era in Las Vegas, California. Las Vegas, Nevada.
Still on the plane, bro.
Thank you, Jack, for ending your night short to be here. We appreciate you showing up tonight. We got a great situation. Obviously, basketball is how we got here, and now we have kids that are doing it, and we have some of the biggest coaches in college basketball here to sit down and talk with us a little bit. Without further ado, starting to my right, Coach Nate Oats, University of Alabama, real grinder, started in high school and grinded his way to Alabama, now your 7th year with the program. To his right, Coach Kelvin Sampson, head coach at University of Houston, been coaching Division I. Let's not date him. He's been coaching Division I since me and Jack were younger.
Yeah,
but still doing it at a very high level, 12th year with Houston. And last but not least, Coach Shrewsberry from Notre Dame, his 3rd year with the Fighting Irish Fellows. Let's jump right into it. The AAU landslide is crazy. I've seen some of you guys out in the summertime at the tournaments. I feel like the AAU system is broken. I feel like we practice maybe once a week and play 6 games on the weekend, and there's less teaching and strategy and philosophy, and it's more based on winning and kind of a money grab for the adults. What are your guys' thoughts on what the AAU system is now compared to what it used to be?
And don't hold back, please.
Yeah. Anybody can start.
Coach Sampson, he got all the smoke. He can say he can say whatever he wants. He's been winning a lot of games.
No, I think if you were asking me what our biggest opponent is, we all have scouting reports on the team we're going to play, but I think our biggest opponent right now is the transfer portal. And a lot of our injuries have been self-inflicted. A lot of them because the NCAA never wins a suit. When they get sued, they usually settle. Just like kids today usually go to 3 or 4 high schools. But it's the same way with AAU. They start with this team. This team offers more, they go to that team. This team offers a little more or a little different for the parents, and they go to that team. So by the time these kids get to college, they're used to being transactional, because that's really what it's become. We talk about it being like that in college, but it starts really with AAU. Because back in the day when you guys were playing, when somebody came to recruit you, it was usually through your parents and high school coach. A lot of it today is agent-driven to a certain AAU program. We're going to place you here to get this, and then they're going to place you in the college you want. If it doesn't work out, we'll place you here your 2nd year. So that's the biggest difference that I've seen over the years, is the infestation of what we have really starts in AAU. And then from there, it becomes a disease that spreads everywhere.
Yeah, and it's become, right, like I spent time in the NBA, right, and now you see more and more injuries happening right now. More and more guys missing games. Like, games are really important, but these guys are playing way too much. Playing way too much without taking the requisite breaks to get themselves back healthy too. Now, you can't play 5-6 games in a weekend and then your trainer hasn't seen you, so he gets you back on Monday. And now you're back on Tuesday, Wednesday, you're doing stuff with your high school team, and then you go right back and play again on the weekend, when like your body's the most important thing for you to get you where you want to go. And if you're not taking care of that starting early, it's going to fail you late.
No, it's right, because you see, and then they get pressured to go to camps. So if you don't show up to this camp, you're not going to be McDonald's All-American. So even though your high school season just ended on Friday, you better be somewhere on Monday. It's a little, there's, in the U.S., I mean, there's just so many people involved. Like AAU, shoe company. Now we've got like Nike Scholastic, so it's like almost like, I don't want to say almost like AAU, but it's all these kids are going to national level high school, so they're not even staying at home once they get into high school, and everybody wants to showcase them, which is great. I mean, it's good for the sport that like they're getting showcased, but there's got to be a little bit more continuity. And then, like Coach said, shoot, you get coached really hard. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Go somewhere else.
Yeah. Hey, they just transfer in high schools with it. I mean, you don't like it at high school. You get coached pretty hard. You get disciplined. In high school, forget it. I don't like that. I'm going to go to this high school, like in the middle of the high school year.
Yeah.
So it doesn't set them up for success
At all.
to handle any kind of adversity. When, because I've been to his practices, they're going to see a little bit of adversity. If you're going to go play for Coach Say, he's going to inflict some adversity early on them to see if they can handle it. And they're probably not used to handling it, to be honest with you.
Well, I think that too. I mean, I think, Coach Sampson, you said something great. Is, I mean, to me, kids are running from the grind really early.
Yeah.
Obviously high school. And then also on the flip side, it's very sports specific now. I lettered in 4 sports in high school, All-American in 2, and I felt like all those sports helped me find my path in the NBA. But now these kids are beating their body up every single day, the same muscles, same thing, no rest, no break. And it's just like, I encouraged my kids and other kids to play different sports, but then it almost feels like you're getting behind the 8 ball because, the kids that aren't playing the other sports are still grinding in that. What are your guys' thoughts? You also mentioned agents and agents being in the mix now, and obviously the NIL situation. I personally feel, again, having kids in the space and literally coaching AAU, I feel like, it's only natural. I know when Stak and I first got to the league and we started getting money, like you take, not take your foot off the gas, but it's a little bit of an exhale. These kids are getting that now in high school, in college, and I feel like it's only natural at a young age to kind of take your foot off the gas when you're giving so much so early.
Yeah, I think you see kids that aren't ranked real high jumping a lot of kids. Look, man, they say money changes people. When you get money at a very young age, or I should say a lot younger than what used to be, I think you see how it changes people. I mean, these kids are walking around with better stuff on. I'm not spending my money on these bags and whatever these kids have. Like, I mean, and it's, look, I'm not against it. Like, I think, shoot, there's a lot of money in college sports. They ought to be able to partake in the money for sure. Just be nice if they had somebody guiding them a little bit better in some instances.
That was kind of my next question. How can, because obviously they were fighting for money when I was in college, and one of my OGs, Ed O'Bannon, kind of brought the case and kind of started opening the door. But as coaches and as people that have to deal with the bullshit that comes with it, what do you feel like can kind of help? Obviously the money's here to stay, but is there some kind of planning or savings or anything you feel like they can kind of help with kind of how wild it is right now?
Because before you answer, I think the problem is too, and I know y'all see it as coaches, all these kids come into the game more in love with what the game can do for them instead of loving the game. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to see the difference in those kids. You know what I mean? You might have some talent, but I don't know if you love it. I think you love what you're getting out of the game at a young age. Is that a problem too?
There's an underlying problem as coaches that get on the court, that 94-foot slab of rectangular wood. Once we get them on there, this is what has changed. There's been such a, I'm gonna go find the best workout guy in the world to work out with my son. He's gonna make him a better basketball player. No, he's not gonna make him a better basketball player. He's gonna make him more skilled. To be a better basketball player, you have to play basketball.
That's right.
And I'm not saying anything against the guys that are working them out. They need that. They need to work on their shooting. They need to work on their ball handling. That is not the issue at all. But we've become a cone generation where they put cones out there and they're making them run around there. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that either. I'm just saying let these kids go out there and get their head knocked off a little bit. Let them get into a gap, see the defense come so they can make a decision. Let them, the wing is being pressured or overplayed and the guy's up in my butt and I'm out here dribbling, trying to figure out how to do that. You don't get that 0-on-1 or 1-on-0. Where, at what point do we bring back the black court? At what point do we say we got next? Go play 5-on-5 more. I'm not saying don't do the other stuff.
That's all we had, Coach.
But you can't become a better basketball player until you learn how to play. And that's the biggest thing that I've seen in this generation, is teaching kids basketball IQ. How to read a 3-on-2 break. Guys in the middle of a 3-on-2 break, hasn't used to making decisions, because his decisions making, what guru am I working out with this weekend? Who's he bringing to shoot with me, not play against him, shoot with me.
And to get the footage.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
So
That's a lot.
I don't want to get it twisted. People say, well, he's against workout coaches. No, there's a lot of great workout coaches out there. Just keep that.
Yeah.
But to be the best basketball player you can be. Chris Paul, Tim Duncan's, you guys learned to play basketball. Nobody set up somebody to work you out.
Couldn't afford it.
Couldn't afford it. But now the money in here, I know kids that every weekend they're flying, their agent has this guy in the NBA, or their agent has this guy in the NBA. And they fly him to where that kid's working out, let him work him out for the weekend. Been better off staying at our gym playing 3-on-3 or 4-on-4, and then let one of our guys work him out.
Yeah. I think you made a great point. I mean, we came up to Stak's point playing pickup basketball, whether it's at the park, at the gym now, and now in the high school space particularly, you almost have to have adults organize it. Like, these kids aren't hitting each other up. They're going to be working out, but they're not. I feel like this generation is probably the most skilled, but I feel they lack IQ because they don't play enough basketball. And kind of leading to my next question, the influx of European talent that is obviously literally taking over the NBA, but it's in college as well. And I feel like these kids practice a lot more than they play. So I think the biggest American weakness is, what do we do off the ball? Kids do not know how to play off the ball. If they don't have the ball now, because they train so much with just the cone and the trainer, they stand and watch. So to understand pick and rolls, the dives, the slips, the 45 cuts, the baseline cuts, the screen rescreens, I feel like we really lack there. How hard is it for you guys now? It used to be
We got soft. We got soft.
But I'm saying you used to learn that kind of stuff at the high school level. Now it's almost like you're teaching it to even some of the 5 stars in the college level. So Coach, I'll start with you. How does it, kind of trying to play catch up even with some of the best kids in the country to really teach them how to play basketball?
It is, because you think about even like the European kids, and like most of those guys are in a system early, a club.
Yep.
They're playing against older people. So you got to learn how to, I don't have the physical advantage.
Yep.
I got to learn how to play. I got to learn how to get my shot off. I got to learn how to do these things, where most of the guys with the physical advantage here are going to dominate. They're going to play their age level. They're going to dominate physically until they get where they're going to get in college, and there's going to be people sitting in gaps. There's going to be people here. They don't understand how to quite play that way, right? Like, I spend so much time in the summer just talking about spacing. I mean, let's not guard each other. Let's get out, like, he's a good player too. Let's get out of his way a little bit so he can make a play. Let's cut here because this guy likes to get to his right hand. All those little things that probably, if you're playing against somebody older when you're younger, right? Like those guys are overseas. They're like, hey, get out of the way and go over there. They're almost instructing you early, and you're learning that, where I don't think we're learning that right now at a young age.
Well, for me, I can attest to that. Like I said, we didn't have trainers, and we had to play in YMCA leagues where the guys who won the leagues, my cousin to tell you, were the teams that were all 30-year-olds. So we had to put our team together and go in there compete with these older guys, and they used to knock us down, knock our teeth out. But I was thankful that I was able to experience that, because when I got to the NBA, all the other stuff, I was used to it. I was ready for it. A lot of the kids are scared to compete now, because I have a son too, and I noticed that, like, I looked for the guy who was the best guy. I wanted to guard him every night. Like, that passion for the game is kind of lost now, and I see a lot of coaches having to deal with that in their kids. But Coach, this first for you. We kind of talked about the transfer portal, but with the transfer portal, it's hard. It's kind of hard to build culture, but you seem to figure out the blueprint to it still. Can we talk about that?
The biggest anti-culture thing is bringing in an asshole. You got to be really careful about who you want to recruit. You don't get inebriated by this kid's size and talent. You better look to see if he's going to fit your culture.
He's culture.
Because if you don't, you're putting your culture second behind what's most important is your team. And when we get good players, it's because the parents want their son to play in a disciplined system where he's going to grow and we tell these parents, don't come here if you don't want to be coached hard. You know, may not be for you. And a couple of the kids we've got, I've actually been surprised we got them, because I didn't think that they would come based on how we are, because there's nothing hidden in college basketball anymore. Every game we play is televised. You got there's a platform to be filmed just about every day, and it goes out, and you have to do it to keep your program relevant. My daughter Lauren is setting something up with film just about every day in the summer, in the fall, in the spring. So your style is out there. But you think about all the new rules. Every rule that we put in place in the last 5 years has been player-driven. And sometimes the player-driven rules are anti-program-driven rules. It's hard to build your program when you're allowed to transfer without penalty every year. It's hard to build your program when kids are making decisions based on who's going to offer me the most money. I think 6 years ago, they were putting the name in the draft and then go participate in the draft, which I was all for, and then get feedback from the NBA, then make a decision on
Stay or leave.
May or leave in May. Now, is that best for our program? No, but it's best for the young man.
Right.
A lot of times a kid says, Coach, I'm coming back in May, and we've had to go ahead and recruit somebody else. Or we've recruited nobody else, and he says, no, I'm staying in the NBA. Well, who are you going to recruit in June? So, but all these are tough for your program to build continuity, but it's great for the young man. You know, NIL, transfer portal, that's great for the kid, but it's tough for the coach. Because you're trying to build a consistent program, and the programs that retain players at the highest level usually have a better chance to be consistent.
I want to give two coaches on your staff props, because I know they a big part of helping build that culture. Two guys I know very well, Anthony Goldwire and Hollis Price.
Yes.
I played against Hollis Price every summer in this tournament in Lake Charles, and I had like 10 pros with me. It was him and a whole bunch of guys from his hood, and they knocked us out probably every year. So I learned a lot of respect from him. Me and Anthony Goldwire came up in the NBA together. So I know how tough-minded those two guys are. So I know they have been great for your staff.
You know, when I was with Scott Skiles in the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, I was there for a second.
Yeah.
That when you're on your mixtape tour?
A quick second. Me and Scott could see eye to eye.
Yeah. Well, Anthony had just got done playing. Adrian Griffin was in there too. He did the same thing. But Goldie came in, and I kind of took him under my wing and tried to be a mentor for him to make the transition from playing to be a coach. And I said, the first thing you do, you got to do, Goldie, is you got to figure out what time the staff meeting is. And figure out I ain't no player no more.
Right.
So we meet at 10. You can't roll up in here at 9:59. Come on, man. Go call Brandon Jennings or call this dude. Call Corey Maggette or somebody and say, I'm going to work you out at 9. Now, Corey's going to say no, but you can get Brandon in there.
That was my guy.
I wanted to know, Coach, because obviously you've been doing this for a long time, and coaching styles have almost had to change. So where are you at with your old school discipline, principle, morals mixed with this new generation? And is it more of your delivery, or is it your old school way or the highway? How have you been able to continue to build?
No, there are certain things you can't change, but there's certain things you better change. I think a guy that's really impacted college basketball over the last 5 years has been Nate Oats at Alabama. I've learned a lot from him, how he approaches the game. I've learned a lot from Coach Shrewsberry about the importance of ATOs, even though I was in the league for six years. But if you'll take your ego and throw it out the door and sit and watch and learn. I've learned a lot from other coaches, and I steal from them. You know, I'm not smart enough to come up with this stuff on my own. I watch them do it, and I say, hey, that's pretty good. You know, you watch Nate.
His passion.
Now, he's always trying to get better defensively. I said, that's going to get in the way of your offense. Be worried about that defense, son. You messing up. But I've learned a lot from Nate. We played Michael in this event last year, and I learned a lot. So for me, it's keeping my values, but being able to grow and learn. And there's no better people to learn from as a college basketball coach than the best college basketball coaches, and even Division II guys, European guys. I think one of the most important come to Jesus moments we've had in all of basketball was the 1988 Olympics in Seoul, Korea. The last time we took a college team. That's where the dream team was born, because 1992 was the first dream team. And you were talking about the Europeans. Europeans taught us a valuable lesson because the way they played us, and we struggled with that style. But that 88, last college kids, 92, pros. And we haven't looked back since.
Coach Oats, let me ask you a quick question. We talking about passion and kids playing hard. I see your passion on the sideline, and I feel it through the TV half the time. How hard is it to keep that in control with wanting to have that same passion in your kids during the game?
Yeah, I mean,
why you didn't die for the ball? If I was playing, I would die.
I'm a high school coach. I call it a break in life. Like I coached pretty hard when I was in high school. I got to realize like the cameras are on you all the time now. You can't quite be the same. So you can't quite undress a kid in front of the cameras. Like, like maybe you could in high school. Like, you got to save that for the locker room. But I feel like sometimes like these guys, you go back to the AU. You play 6 games in a weekend, you're going to play those same 6 games. You win, you lose, it doesn't really matter. You're playing them. Like sometimes, I think, offensively we've tried to, modernize it all. But I still think like teaching kids how to compete is still the number one thing. Like because they come in not really caring whether you win or lose. So every drill we do, there's a winner and a loser. Every day we got red and white, and there's a winner and a loser. And if you lose, there's consequences, and I'm trying to instill a little bit of competitive fire in some of these really talented kids. That I try to go to an NBA training camp or 2 or 3 or 4, as many as I can get to every year. Try to learn because we're trying to play it as most modern we can. But I don't really go to college practice as much because they start usually the same. But I kept telling Coach I got to get down and watch you because if you look, go do the stats outside of the national championship team. Each of the last 5 years. So take out Florida's 1 year last year, or UConn's 2 years, or, back Kansas. They've been the best college basketball team in the country. And he's
most consistent.
Literally knocking on the door every single year. So I finally did. He said, man, you better hurry up and get down there before Kellen takes over. So I came down and we watched it. I spent a whole, he was great. His staff, they had video ready for us because they've done the best job of anybody in college basketball. And talk about passion, and I don't know how old he is. I don't really care. He's got as much passion as anybody. I think it's hard to get you guys to compete every day if the head coach doesn't compete every day.
Right.
And instill. So sometimes you got to instill it in the middle of the game. Like maybe the referees are taking it, getting a little bit of it because you watch players that play hard, but if you yell at the players, they might fold on you. So maybe you got to yell at the refs a little bit, the players going a little bit.
I've seen Pop do it too many times and change our whole feel of the game. We come back and win. So great coaches know how to do that.
I've been thrown out of one game in my career. And we were down 11 with 7 minutes to go, I believe, in that game. And we won that game.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got it still. You got to get them going a little bit.
I'm still getting thrown out of AAU games. I'm like one game. I have a question though, because I feel like in our era, and this is not to talk bad about the current, but it feels like passion and energy and that's almost a skill set now, but it used to be a must. Like playing hard was a non-negotiable when we were coming up. And Coach Drew, I'll start with you. Like, that was something you never had a coach didn't have to worry about that when we came up, because if you didn't, you weren't playing or you weren't going to be on the team. Now, again, and I just heard Coach Oats mention, like, some of our best players, we have to teach them how to compete. How do you teach kids that should know how to compete and should know how to play with high energy and passion constantly that kind of fluctuate and go with the flow? How does that work for you?
Yeah, and Nate talked about it, Coach. Coach is a model for us, right? Like, as a young coach trying to figure out like programs, right? Like playing hard is a non-negotiable, right? And I know, like, we're allowed to recruit, right? It's not a school district. It's not like I got these guys because they live here. No, I'm the one that's recruiting them, and I know who I can coach and who I can't coach. So, like, I'm going to find dudes that's going to play hard, right? Even if you're a lesser talent and you play hard, we're going to make up that gap. And we're going to put the time in to make you a better player. So you got to find them first. And like you said, it's a skill. And I know he's going to look for them. Nate's going to look for them, right? Like, that's a skill that stands out right now. If you play hard, you're going to stand out on the circuit, right? And you got to find those guys. And then it's about, like, you know, almost like, what are you doing it for? Why are you here? Like, I coach with passion because, like, I played Division III basketball. I'm not supposed to be the head coach at Notre Dame, right? Like, how did I get here? I didn't have a head coach that was working somewhere that helped me get this, there, and the other. I had to grind to get here. So every day I appreciate where I'm at and what I'm doing. So it's like, I want players that same way, to feel that same way. Like, man, we get to play college basketball today.
What a blessing.
Yeah.
Coach Oats, your journey, 2013, you were coaching high school in Wisconsin. Bobby Hurley comes to scout one of your players, and it ends up almost a full circle moment where you end up on his staff in Buffalo. Walk us a little bit through that process and how that happened.
Like I said, I'm a high school coach at Car Break. So, like, I had a kid, E.C. Matthews, who's pretty good. He ends up committing to Rhode Island. The assistant, Preston Murphy's with me now, one of the best recruiters in the country, one of the best coaches in the country. So he was the lead recruiter. Rhode Island changes staffs. Danny Hurley gets the job at Rhode Island. This kid commits. Their first real commit, as he, you know, and then, so I get to know the staff really well. Bobby gets the job at Buffalo. And I was fortunate that those guys obviously value high school coaches. You know, their dad's maybe the best high school coach that would do it in the Hall of Fame. So they got a lot higher, you know, value for high school coaching than probably most college coaches at that time would have had. So, you know, between Dan and Bob, I end up catching on with Bob at Buffalo. And fortunate for me, Bob did a really good job and got the Arizona State job after 2 years. And I had an AD, Danny White, who's now head AD at Tennessee, who had enough, he had enough balls about him to hire a guy that was a high school coach 2 years ago. So, like, he, you know, I was fortunate. He gave me the job after 2 years being an assistant in Division I, and we were lucky, got some players that were a lot better than what, had a kid, C.J. Massenberg, that nobody else in Division I wanted. I told him, shoot, you know, I brought up redshirt when I recruited him. I said, look, man, we made redshirts. He said, just give me a shot. I said, I'll give you a shot, but are you willing to redshirt? He said, yeah, if that's what you think's best. Shoot, he ends up with 36 as a freshman, 17 at Duke. He's second all-time leading scorer. So I definitely caught some breaks along the way. We won enough games in 4 years at Buffalo, and I somehow ended up the job at Alabama. So make a long story short.
Your team is known for getting the temps up. You guys are top 10 in 3 points the last 3 years. Obviously, with a math background yourself, is that the analytics? Is that the flow of what the game is now? What is your strategy behind getting the temps up?
So when I played Division III as well, not even a very good program, but, you know, we had, and I love my head coach, great guy, but, like, you had the green light or the red light. You know, I didn't, I wasn't the guy with the green light all the time. I didn't really like that. It's hard to work on your game every day and then never be able to use it when you get in the game. So as a high school coach, I'm like, look, man, if I'm not going to let these guys play a little bit, I'm not going to be able to get them back. I was in the school district. I couldn't recruit. At Romulus, you had to live in Romulus to go to Romulus. So as we got better, people would move in, but you had to work with what you had. So we started coming in at 6 a.m. If you're going to get guys to come in at 6 a.m. It started with 2 guys, Avery Stevenson, Dante Williams. They're not going to come in at 6 a.m. if they can't use what you're working on.
Right.
So we opened it up, tried to, and the math thing definitely works too. Like, if you shoot 40% behind that line, that's 1.2. If you shoot 40% inside of that line, that's 0.8. And we've had a top 3 defense in the country. It was 0.92 and 0.93. So a 0.8 shot.
Yeah. I'm lost.
Worst offense in basketball. 1.2. One of the top 10 offense. So we got to teach the guys. We do a little
What
math.
sport is
I'm
this?
still teaching math and basketball. But yeah, a little bit of both. Giving the guys a little freedom. teaching them a little math, a little bit of everything.
There you go. Keep your foot off the line.
I'm learning right now.
Me too. Me too.
Oh, he knows. Don't buy into that. He knows.
My son is actually going through it. My son graduated high school, and y'all know it's like we talked about. They're not really recruiting high school kids because they want kids to come in and play now. Rick Pitino said that. What do y'all think has transpired since he made that statement? Like, does you think it's put a lot of light on what's going on?
He made the statement he's not recruiting high school kids anymore. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Just recruiting
Period.
polo kids?
Not at all.
Like we played, I got a lot of respect for Pitino too, Hall of Fame.
We all do.
For him to win right away, because he's trying to win right away, maybe makes sense. I think Coach Sampson's, again, we've looked at the numbers because we're trying to recruit to sell our program. So the one program that's definitely won more than us in the last 5 years is right here. And if you look at his team, he's still recruiting a lot of high school kids.
Yeah.
And we had the number 1 overall seed in the tournament 3 years ago. We had the best team in the country. We ended up getting upset in the Sweet 16. But we had Brandon Miller started, Noah Clowney. Brandon went second in the draft. Noah Clowney went 21st. We started Jaden Bradley. Most of the year as our point guard. He's at Arizona now, having an unbelievable career. We started 3 freshmen, like all year. And we were the number 1 overall seed. So I think you can do it both ways, but you got to get the right freshmen.
Right.
Like they got to be competitive. Noah Clowney was ranked number 100 coming out of high school. Didn't play on a shoe team, played on a smaller circuit, but man, he competed. And we had our starting 4 back going into his 5th year. He just came in and beat the kid out. So you got to have kids willing to
Work.
When the most questions they ask in recruiting is, who else do you have at my position? Sometimes you got to back out of that recruitment
Why do
because
you
they
care?
ain't willing to compete.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're still recruiting high school kids hard. Shoot, he just got a couple commitments this week. They're pretty good kids too because we recruited one of them. And I think those kids are gonna compete and win. Like I mean, if you compete, if you get the right high school kids, you can 100% still win.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna add in some transfers to help fill in some gaps of some kid. You're not gonna be 100%. So if you get a kid that maybe you thought was going to be better and he's not, and he just can't play in your system, and he leaves in the spring, well, you're going to probably have to replace him with a portal kid.
Yeah.
But we're still trying to build it with high school kids.
Yeah, that's
mainly.
good to hear. That's good to hear. I know a lot of high school kids are happy to hear that too.
What are your guys' thoughts on, and obviously me being a dad of 4 sons, I don't like this shit. The 6, 7, 8 year seniors, guys that are 25.
I might still have some eligibility.
Go
Let's talk.
Go look at the
Let's
team
talk.
about to play first in this. They're older than some NBA teams.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Garnett said he still has eligibility
years
too,
left.
Jack.
All
Like,
4.
what is, I mean, obviously, by no means am I blaming, I can't even call them kids, the young adults, because obviously it's a system that the NCAA has created, so you want them to take advantage of it. And again, I fault no coaches because your job is to win. You know, whether you're able to build grassroots like some of the stronger programs that you guys have coached can do, I feel like these 26, 27, 28-year-olds are clogging up the pipeline for kids because when we came up, college was the next step in your development, in your growth, on and off the court to hopefully get your shot at the league. But now you have kids or young men that are taking the opportunities away from the 17 and 18 and 19-year-old kids because they're 25, 26, 27. But at the same time, the coaches know that those experienced old-ass men will help you win some games. So what are your guys' thoughts on that?
COVID provided a pathway to get another redshirt year. So let's take a kid that comes in a little bit older. He's 19. So you decide to redshirt him. Now he's a 20-year-old fresh. 2 years later, he's a 22-year-old going into his junior year. He gets hurt. He files for a medical hardship, another waiver. So now he gets hurt that year. Now he's 23-year-old junior. Now he's a 24-year-old getting ready to turn 25-year-old senior. Now BYU's had this for years that impacted football more so than basketball, just because of the physical nature of that sport and having older kids. But it is different, especially when you're trying to balance your roster with high school kids.
Right.
And you know, I appreciated Nate's compliment, but I think the program that has been the most consistent over a 10-year period has been Gonzaga. And the thing that Gonzaga has done is figure out how to get an extra year. They're great coaches, but they do something that I think all consistent programs do. Not only do they recruit, but you evaluate. evaluation sometimes is more important than recruitment. I don't go forward with the recruitment until I evaluate. And I'm not sitting there evaluating whether he's a good player or not. I'm evaluating whether I want to coach him. Because some of these cats, I'd rather coach against them than coach them. You know, so this kid said, this kid's this, oh, he looks good. He looks good. I like to play him with 2 minutes to go and switch him off onto my scoring guard and then isolate him. Let's see what he's willing to do. So when I watch a kid play, I'm thinking of different scenarios. I'm not looking down here to see where he's rated. I don't care about that. That stuff doesn't matter. But you know, sometimes you need to grow your own groceries. You need to have a garden in your backyard. Instead of running down to aisle 9 at Kroger's, go get you a 4. Then they're out of 4s at Kroger's. I'm gonna skip across town, go over here to Safeway. You know, they got plenty of them over there.
Safeway.
So,
And if they don't got them, Ralph's got them.
yeah, Ralph's got them. And then sometimes you need to go to Fiesta. Who knows? For me is I like development, and I sell that.
Yes.
Well, we're going to help develop you. You don't worry about the NBA right now, son. You want to be ready when you get there. You know, you don't want to be a fan when you get there.
Right.
You know, until you get tougher, learn how to compete, and learn the difference in these two terms. There's a huge difference in playing hard versus competing. You know, and one of my favorite players, he's not an all-time great, but he was in his era, was Manu Ginobili. You know, nobody played harder than
One
Manu.
of my favorite teammates.
Yeah, never played harder than Manu. And then when you get in games, there's a reason, you know, Tim Duncan and Tony and Bruce and Fabricio and all those dudes that the Spurs had back, they all had a role. But the guy that tied them together, their glue, was Manu. And though his left-handed could do this and this, that dude competed, man.
Every day.
He competed. He put pressure on you to come and match his intensity.
As college basketball is getting older, it's taking opportunities away from some of the high school kids. And what that does is it now becomes a ripple effect of those kids transferring, right? So if I'm a player that could have played at the Division I level, right? Maybe I'm a high major player and I can't get there because there's no spots. I go mid-major. Then I'm gonna play there for a year and then try and transfer. Or if I go to the low major, and I'm gonna get to Division I somehow, and then I'm gonna try and transfer up, and then we just keep that cycle going, right? And so that's the one thing is like I just don't like taking opportunities from high school kids that are working, that are earning it, but because we're holding on to older players, right? And
it's part of the game.
I got one of those old guys on my team.
It's a part of the
now.
game. Yeah, it's to me, and that's my thing. Not to knock any players, even the coaches, because that's what the game is now.
Yeah.
So
The new thing now is they don't count JUCO years.
yeah, you can get 2 JUCO years now and
Diego
still
at
come in as a
Vanderbilt.
freshman, right?
Yeah, I mean, we had one that played for us. It's now his 3rd school within our league, and because you played 2 years at JUCO, and the quarterback at Vanderbilt, Diego, I'm doing really well for himself, wants to keep making money in college football. Sued the NCAA, like he said. The NCAA's like they lose every lawsuit.
Old, yeah.
So now, if you play 2 years at JUCO, you still get.
You could be a freshman.
So you could go
Do you
4
know
years
that?
high school, go to a prep school year, go to 2 years at JUCO. Now, what's supposed to be your senior year at college is your freshman year in
20-year-old
college.
freshmen.
Yeah, I mean,
Has
it's
JUCO
crazy.
changed though? Because back then, JUCO, you might well stay home and be in the projects because that's what JUCO was. JUCO was just like the projects.
Yeah,
It was
doing-
nothing better.
the prep
I
schools.
went to Blinn for a week and I was like, nah, I might as well stay home.
No, when I started my career, I was a JUCO Hall of Famer, and all my dudes were JUCOs. But I was coaching at Washington State and Oklahoma, and Oklahoma was surrounded by the best JUCOs in the country. In Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri.
Yeah.
Man, that's JUCO heaven because the national JUCO tournaments in Hutchinson, Kansas. So that surrounding area, you had really good JUCO coaches
Butler,
too.
yeah.
Good players, but those are some Hall of Fame coaches back then.
Coach Strew, you coach your son, and that's something I coach both my sons. How do you walk that balance of coach and dad and being conscious of they're hearing my voice too much, like, you know, or he's hearing your voice? Like, what is that fine line for you as a coach and dad at the college level?
It's been a challenge, right, in 2 years. And I talked to a lot of coaches that had done it before. I think the hardest part so far is we're just building our program and we haven't won yet. So he's the worst player in the world because of what his last name is. Like, kid averaged 14 points a game and shot 40% from three, but every loss is his fault. So I actually, this fall, Leon Rice is the coach at Boise State. Coached both of his boys, and he came out and watched the practice, came to a football game, and he told me he had gotten a note from another coach, and he said, you know, enjoy it the best you can. And I vowed to these last 2 years. But he said, give him the same praise that you would give a normal kid on your team, right? Like, sometimes you hold back from that.
Because it's your son.
Because it's your son, and like, but you would praise any other kid the same exact way. And this kid probably lives and dies your program because it affects him way more than anybody else. Like, so he is all in on what you're doing. So that's why I'm like, give him praise. And our guys know, like, he works his ass off. There's no favoritism in that way of why he's playing or why he's doing things. So they respect it. So now they don't feel that there's any favoritism to it at all. So, you know, I'd said it going into this year is like, man, I'm going to enjoy it because it's pretty special.
Yeah.
What we're doing.
Are you able to have conversations with him? Because, again, same thing with me, and especially now in this social media era, and now my twins have built a name on their own, and they're starting to get recruited, and they put the work in. But do you have to have those kind of mental check-ins? Because social media and just life is brutal today. There's so many more distractions, and I think Charles Barkley, not all these idiots deserve a voice. Like, a lot of people have a voice that spews negativity and BS. Do you have to have kind of those mental check-ins with your son at times just to kind of, hey, you good?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think him, but I think
everybody
on your team right now. This is for college athletes, this is a hard time for them mentally. Like, the amount of stuff that is going on with, how they get attacked after just doing what they love, and they're going to make a mistake. And somebody's at home sitting on the couch like, you should have did this or you should have done that better. And these guys are just, man, they just trying to put some money in their pocket, play basketball, have fun with their teammates, everything else.
You know, the thing that on the down low that we have to deal with a lot that's really impacted our kids is these prop bets. And
I was just going to ask about gambling.
And the betting.
Yeah.
And kids, you got a big lead with 3 minutes to go. These guys work their butts off in practice. We call it our white team. So our white team goes in there, you doggone right, I'm going to get them in as much as they can. They go in there and miss, you're up 30 or 28, whatever. They go in there and miss a couple shots. Let's say the line is 27 and we're up 28. He misses 2 free throws. The other team throws a line. I think the kid's getting ready to get killed.
Death threats, it's crazy.
And we don't have any protection.
Yeah.
You guys made a great point about social media is not for praise, it's for cynics.
Yeah.
It's for people to tell you how bad you are. They don't come in there to praise you. Now, it's not like you don't get some. But for the most part, our kids get a lot because of the era they're in, but they also get attacked more because of the era they're in.
Yeah, the mental health is strong. And I thought it was completely kind of off topic, but since you brought that up, just such a tone-deaf move by the NCAA to allow betting on the heels of, keep your point, Oh, they did?
Yeah,
so you can't do it?
No, they did allow it, and I just had the discussion with my team, like, all you guys that think, no, they reversed
So they
they rescinded it.
But just the thought of,
But it came off the heels
That's
of
crazy.
guys in our league getting
That's
popped for
crazy.
gambling, and then the next day we're hearing NCAA now allows players, managers, and coaches. I'm like, what the fuck? Did they not just
it was
watch what we were watching on
terrible
TV
decision.
yesterday? So, okay, that's taken.
But they rescinded it.
Good.
Correct.
I'm glad to hear that.
Like, to their points, the social media, and we had a big win against St. John's, then we lose at home to Purdue. You could feel in the locker room, it's like the next day. I delete all social media off my phone for the entire season because as a head coach, you're like, greatest thing since John Wooden when you win, and then you're like the worst, like he said.
He's a bum.
As a coach, you can't ride up and down. So You'll never get the players to delete it off. I wish they would, because they don't need to be up and down either.
Yeah.
But I just don't think you listen
I
to
think
it.
that's a major space. I think also along with bad parents, social media is a tough space to navigate for young teenagers, young men. I want to talk real quick, coming towards the end of this. Parents, how much, I feel like parents are the worst part about AAU. How tough and I'm an AAU parent.
It wasn't
and a
like that
coach.
when we was growing up.
No, our parents didn't come to game. Like, they didn't have a say.
They
back
was at
then.
work.
Yeah, they didn't have a say. How tough, and
was
have
at
you
work.
guys lost or shied away from guys? And obviously we don't need no names, that you feel like the energy from their parents is gonna rub off on them and just not good, to your point, Coach, for the greater good of the team.
So my dad was a Hall of Fame high school coach in North Carolina, 30 plus years. I was a head coach in college when I was 25. That's not, don't pat me on the back. It might have been, it was engineering college, and I was a sixth coach in 3 years. How about you? Won't you give it a shot? It's more one of those. It's not like they elevated me. You know, we had a guy that quit in December, and hey, what are you doing this weekend? But he gave me 2 pieces of advice. I've tried to share it to young coaches when I go in clinics. Number one is, if you start listening to those people sitting up there behind you, pretty soon you're gonna be sitting with them.
Right.
And number 2, don't ever lose sight of parents. They'd much rather their son make the all-conference team, son or daughter, than your team win the conference championship. And that's bode me well over the years. For instance, when parents, family members are not allowed to come to practice, that's not negotiable. Another thing is the honesty. I think if you're honest, they may not want to hear it, but you got to have the courage.
Tough
You got to have the
conversations.
cojones to say it. Is my son going to start? He could, but he's going to have to win the competition. Now, if they decide to go somewhere else because of that, I think you won. You know, it's like what Nate was saying a while ago. Who else you recruiting in my position? I've never been afraid to lose a guy. You know, I haven't. The kids that we've settled on, we were able to compete with them and coach them. But the ability to be upfront with these parents, and things change today. 30 years ago, I was dealing with the black mamas. You know, look at the daddies now. Most of these kids come from 2-parent families. And my dad coached all his career in segregation. You know, you didn't have a lot of help. Now, it was the mamas with 4 babies or 4 kids struggling to pay rent, and the AAU coach grabbed the kid and made all the decisions. You know, some of it was to his benefit. But now the black fathers are heavily involved, and the black mother, and they're successful. So I've seen that scale go up and down so much, and that's why I think a lot of these kids choose the schools they choose, because they're looking for discipline. They're looking for, and enough of those haven't been talked about. They're making the right choice, and they're benefiting from it. In 2003, I had the 8th pick in the draft in Jarris Walker. Then I had the 25th pick in the draft in Marcus Sasser. Marcus was ranked 297 in his class, first round draft pick. Jarris would have been drafted no matter where he went. I mean, he was that talented at that age. But Marcus is more the story of our program, taking kids, developing them, giving them some discipline, teach them how to compete and be the best player they can be. But there's the right programs. If you got a chance to go play for Coach Shrew at Notre Dame or Nate at Alabama, you know your kid's going to be treated the right way. They're going to get coached the right way. And they're going to be the best player they can be, but more importantly, they're going to be able to raise their family on the standards that these guys have set.
Productive, man. To me, there's so many life lessons in sports,
Yes.
particularly basketball, and that's when I'm telling my parents, and we're fighting for these top kids in Southern California. It's like I'm gonna teach them everything you need to know on the basketball side, but also how to be a productive citizen, a productive man moving forward. Because I think we lose picture of that, because the numbers are 1% is going pro. And that could not even be the NBA. It's just a level of pro. So a lot of these people, we have to prepare for the real world once they leave you guys.
Since we're talking about that and making, developing these young men into men, let's talk about Coach Pop, how important and influential he was. I know for me, to be able to be with Pop at the beginning of my career, I learned early how to be a man, but also to be a pro. I went to the NBA young, and I thought it was still a game. But being with Pop, I learned how to prepare. I learned how to, be there for my teammates. I learned how to play my role. A lot of things I grew up early being with Pop. How important was Pop to you? There was some ups and downs, and how was it being with Pop, being around him and learning from him?
He and our relationship started in 2002. We were both assistants to George Karl with the World Championship team. That was the year that, this is before the revolution in Eastern Europe with the Yugoslavs and the Serbs. So it was Vlade Divac and all those guys were playing for Yugoslavia. Manu and Nocioni and all those guys were playing for Argentina.
Yep.
And we were the USA coach. And we spent every day walking. We trained in San Francisco for 2 weeks. We walk down to Chinatown and back and go find the best wine he could find. And, but we developed an unbelievable relationship. So my first pro stop was with the Spurs. And the first thing I noticed about him is he ran the Spurs like a college team with the discipline. Now he gave them all the respect and all the room. I remember we were I don't remember who we were playing, but we were in the car. He was taking me back to the practice facility where my car was. And he asked me something about, they were playing Boston because Kevin Garnett was guarding Tim. And he said, what did you think about this? And I can't remember what I said. Next thing I know, he's punching Tim's button. Hey, tell Tim what you just told me. I said, tell Tim that. But he's mastered the art of respect through relationship.
Yep.
He taught me so much, not about the X's and O's, but how to be an older coach, but still connect to a rookie. And how to use your older players to share your culture with the new guys. And that was Pop's greatest strength. It wasn't the connection with the new guys, it's the connection with the old guys that connected with the new guys that came back to him. He was just a master at that. And I do think that's a gift.
To your point, I was there. It was me and Ginobili. Tony Parker was our first years. But we had Steve Smith, David Robinson, all those other guys. And it was a combination that worked, but he used to get on Tim because sometimes he would be too hard on me and Manu, but when we see he go off on Tim the same way, we got to take it.
Oh, yeah.
It was easy. So he was able to teach those older guys to get to us, so that, to your point, he was the best at it.
He's a master. I learned so much just by being around him. And last year, the Final Four was in San Antonio. And we were talking every day. He's going through his challenges. We're at practice one day at this Versus facility, and I look over there and there's Manu and the physical therapist and Pop. And I just got emotional watching him because of the impact he's had on so many people's lives. And he waved at me and I said, say something to these guys, Pop. And that was the first time he'd spoken in public up to that point. So great coach, but
Better person.
The impact he's had on other people, I don't think anybody in the NBA's had quite that kind of impact.
I'm one of those people too.
There's been some great ones. I wouldn't be sitting here without Pop.
I wouldn't be an NBA champ without Pop.
In closing, for a high school kid watching this, or even a current college kid, what is one piece of advice each of you would give these kids, starting with you, Coach?
I mean, I was a high school coach for 11 years. I think you just got to buy into the process of getting better, and everybody's journey is different. Like the problem with a lot of these high school kids is they see a Brandon Miller or come in 1 year and out. Well, that might not be your story. Like if you just have to buy into getting better every day and having the right character about it. And some of you are going to be NBA players and some of you aren't, but what you need to be, your goal needs to be a successful person in life. And whether it's the NBA or not, like I've got plenty of guys that don't play in the NBA that are very successful. Actually, one of my former high school kids is a pastor to the largest growing church in Seattle right now. I'm more proud of him than I am like the NBA guys. Like you don't have to play in the NBA. Like just be a great person, take your own journey, and just be better today than you were yesterday, and things work out pretty well for you.
Coach Sampson?
I think everybody's going to say probably something similar to what Nate says. So I'm going to go off script a little bit and tell them to work on their left hand more.
What if they're a
Work on
lefty?
your left.
And work on your right. Work on your non-dominant hand. Basketball, if you're a one-handed player, you got a short career.
Coach?
Similar to Nate, comparison's the thief of joy, right? Like run your own race. Just focus on what you're doing. And you see it a lot. There's some kids that take off physically and other kids aren't there, but their skill level's there. And now when you catch up physically, now you pass some of these guys. Like just focus on your development, focus on your path, your journey. And just as long as you can do that, you'll end up in a good place.
Love that. Well, fellas, thank you guys. Best of luck. Big thanks to Players Era for hosting us. Make sure you guys check out the tournament on TNT, truTV, HBO Max. We'll see you guys out there. And man, that's a wrap. Thank you guys. Best of luck this year.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us on.